Who says the Talmud isn't humorous? There's a wonderful way of reading the Talmud that tickles our funny bone if we just read it so. This is in the spirit of being here together in the month of Adar. As we say, Misha Nichnas Adar, Marbim B'Simcha. Whoever enters the month of Adar has to increase his joy, her laughter, her engagement of the world with a sense of humor about us. And don't we need a sense of humor in terms of how we engage our world today? Well, let me share that I chuckled and found very, very deeply humorous the message of the Gemara on pages 87 and 88 of Psachim. For those of us learning a daily daf, a page of Talmud a day on the cycle of learning the Talmud over 7+ years. There are sometimes passages that if you just read them with an Adar lens, a month of Adar lens to find the humor in it all, you really can laugh. Towards the end of yesterday's stuff, which is 87, I'm recording this on Wednesday of this week. Rabbis Chia, Elazar, and Hanina are sitting and giving their interpretations of what it means that God understands all ways and knows everything's place. And they offer a different reason why God would exile the Jewish people to Babylonia while the Romans controlled the land of Israel. Rabbi Chia says that the Babylonians are less cruel than the Romans. And so there's some compassion within the big picture, the unfolding of history. Rabbi Elazar says, if you really look closely, exile itself hints at an ultimate redemption. So from slavery, we were redeemed. From exile, we will one day be redeemed as well. So the first little twist of humor, I think here, you can really read this with a twist of humor, is Rabbi Hanina's suggestion. And he says, well, I don't know if it's about who's more cruel, and I don't know if it's about exile and redemption. I just think Babylonia is the address because it's easy enough for Hebrew speakers to get along here. There's not so much of a gap in terms of language learning. So I think that's why God put us over here. Now, to take it further, we get one more report. And on page 88 of Psachim, we have a saying by Ula that ultimately does make for a little laughter. Ula looks at them all, if you will, and says, what do you think it's about? Who's more cruel? You think it's about exile? It's about language? Have you tasted the dates? That's what Ula says. But have you tasted the dates? I mean, who cares where we are? The smorgasbord is wonderful here. It's delicious. So the reality is that sometimes it's not even about the fruit, it's about the price. And it goes further. Ula visits Pumbedita, one of the main centers of Babylonian Jewry, and he said to them, how many baskets of dates like these can you purchase for a zuz? And they said to him, 3 of them for a zuz. And he said, a basket full of date honey for just a single zuz? And yet the Babylonians do not engage in more Torah study? And so he asks, don't the Jews have it so good here? Can't they see how wonderful they have it. Not only can you taste the sweetness of the dates, you can buy a basketful and make yourself sweeten up your life for just a single zuz. Ula happened to be from the land of Israel as well. And that adds to the wonderful, humorous read of the sugya. Ula's judgment is that you sit back and you enjoy the sweetness of the dates, even in amidst the exile, the dark night. Of course, we all go through hardships. That night, the dates wind up afflicting him. Ula said, in the end, a basket full of lethal poison sells for a zuz in Babylonia. And yet the Babylonians still engage in Torah study. Ula has a sense of humor about his situation in order to get through and navigate life. Even while there's no great redemption, even while sometimes it can be cruel out there. A sense of humor indeed does get us through. And maybe that's what Misha Nichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha really means. Whoever enters the month of Adar needs to be reminded that it takes a sense of humor to get through it all. Like Esther and Mordechai and that chapter, like the exiles of Babylon, the destruction of the temple by the Romans, the Jewish situation in the land of Israel, outside the land of Israel. It's amazing they still learn Torah. It's incredible that Jewish life continues. Oh, and have you tried the dates? Shabbat Shalom.